Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Ice Caves of Leelanau, and if you're looking for a photography book that features amazing winter landscapes, this is your book. Before we jump into the book review, if you are new here, welcome. I post new book reviews almost every single day, so if you want to wake up every single day to some reading inspiration, feel free to stick around. So this book is exactly what it sounds like. It's ice caves in a very specific region of the United States, specific to a very specific region in the state of Michigan, and the photography is all featured from a very specific time, the winter of 2014. It features winter landscapes on the Great Lakes. So Leelanau, which is a peninsula region in the state of Michigan, sticks into Lake Michigan, which is one of the 5 Great Lakes in the United States and Canada. The lakes border both countries. And during the winter, the interaction between the water and the freezing temperatures causes these fantastic scenes on the lake, which I'm going to show you some photos of, so do not worry, we will be getting to some photos. The landscape is excellent every single year. If you live close enough to a Great Lake, I'm sure you have seen some of the cool features that happen when you have freezing water and then the addition of more water and combine that with frozen temperatures and some snow. You can just get some fantastic scenes to see. But there's an essay by Jerry Dennis, but the photography is by Ken Scott, and Ken focused his work in this book on the winter of 2014, which I lived through 2014, and I guess I don't have the same memory, or it didn't impress on me the same way, but I guess it was particularly spectacular for these formations along Lake Michigan, so he focused all of his attention in this book on photography that he took on the winter landscape along the shores of Lake Michigan during this particularly cold winter. I do have to say I have read one other book by Ken Scott before, or featuring his photography, called Still Michigan, and the review for that is on my channel as well. So whether or not this took place in 2014, or if you don't remember 2014, or you didn't live in a winter location, or you don't know where Leelanau is, I don't think you need to know any of that to enjoy this book. The winter landscapes are absolutely fascinating, and the photography speaks for itself. So if we just dive in, we have some beautiful views of the lake. This is like that ice. There's an ice accumulation that builds up around the lake where you can usually see open water, or sometimes you can see open water, but we have some ice that's built up, and we have this ice ledge that's kind of accumulated as things have been pushed against it and frozen. And it's that interplay between the ice that builds up on the shore and the open water that can still come up and freeze that makes these absolutely amazing landscapes. And this one, of course, is also combined with the sun and the light that's happening over here. As I previously mentioned, there is essays in this book by Jerry Dennis, so he's adding the essays while Ken Scott is adding the photography. And here's an example of what can happen. So we can have certain interplays between the land and the water that creates these cave-like structures that people can go into. Of course, I do have to caution that if you don't know what you're doing, you don't live in a region like this, please do, of course, use caution whenever going up to these places, because freezing water can kill. So please be very careful, but these people know what they're doing. They live here. The cave formations are very cool. I have seen them before. You also get beautiful colors that just pop up. This is something that if you have never had the opportunity to see, definitely go to a large body of water like the Great Lakes in winter and just see that interplay between the ice on land and the lake. It's quite beautiful, even if it's not quite like this 2014 year that seemed to be extra special. It is beautiful and it is worth the shot. I also wanted to point out some photography that he took during winter, which has these beautiful bands of the Milky Way, the beautiful night sky. And I wanted to add two. I think these are some of the prettier ones in this book. He has several that take place, one with the Aurora Borealis back here, which can be seen occasionally in Michigan. If you do not live in a region that affords you a good view of the night sky, maybe you live in a region that has a lot of light pollution, having the opportunity to go somewhere where there is a lot less light pollution, as you can see from the first photo I showed you, you can still see some light pollution on the horizon, but being in a region with much less light pollution just affords a completely different view of the sky, and the sky is clearer and sharper and crisper to view, the night sky I should say, in winter. So having the opportunity to go out on the lake, stand in these caves, and view the beautiful winter sky is an unparalleled opportunity. It is quite cold, I also will warn you. Please use caution. but it is an experience that is completely worth it. We can see similarities to the cave. We have these little drippy things that drip down from the ceiling, icicles. Icicles are just pretty to me for normal reasons, but seeing them in a cave like this is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I could just show you every single picture in this book. The photography in this book is fantastic, and it just shows, yeah, again, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but that interplay between the Great Lakes and the frozen ice on shore just creates these beautiful scenes. And something that Ken Scott also emphasizes, or I should rather say Jerry Dennis, because he's the one writing the essay and calling attention to it, is the ephemeral nature of these caves. They're different every single year. Unlike a cave that's made of rock that you go into that maybe can shift and change due to erosion, but is more or less going to stay static during your lifetime, an ice cave will literally only be there for a couple months or even a couple weeks. These are things that are ephemeral and that disappear. And 6 months later, there's going to be people in bathing suits laying on the beach where your ice cave was 6 months previous that you took the photography in. So I think emphasizing that nature, that these things don't last forever, they're very transitory, makes the photography all the more special because the photographer is actually documenting something that can't really truly be seen again. The photography is beautiful, and this is definitely worth picking up. I do have one little nitpick I want to make with this book. Maybe it's not really a nitpick, just a commentary. I feel like the niche is very, very small and the focus is very tight. So the audience that's being appealed to in this book is quite small, but it shouldn't be, because this nighttime, evening, even daytime winter photography of winter landscapes, I think appeals to a wide audience. But I think when the title is meant to be descriptive, Ice Caves of Leelanau, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this book, but I think maybe including this photography in a larger collection of other winter photography and maybe titling the photography collection Winter Landscapes might prevent that hyper focus on a certain locale and on a certain niche and of this certain year, 2014. You could have a hyper or a specific and local book like this, but also including it in a larger photography collection of winter landscapes. I just feel, even though I'm not a marketing person, may have been a good marketing move to prevent you from being super focused and keeping your audience maybe too small. People who might not know the region might be turned off and never read a book that, in my opinion, is definitely worth picking up. But this is fabulous winter photography, so if you're looking to add another book on winter photography to your shelf, or you want something unique and special for someone in your life who loves photography for the holiday season, then picking up Ice Caves of Leelanau, a visual exploration by Ken Scott with essays by Jerry Dennis might be a good move for you. If you have any thoughts or comments or would like to say anything, please leave it in the comments below. I love to receive comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of